So now we're moving to the next day, which is April the 5th, which consists of multiple events. So I'm going to mention each party involved per event because it's a lot. So the first event, the parties involved are the band director, Jovan Wilson, Miss Courtney Blake, Coach Michaela, and Jada Worsley, and myself. So at this time, we are still preparing for open house and the Dreamville performance. So what was told to me by Miss Courtney Blake was I would be performing at Dreamville, but I would not be performing for open house because it was such on short notice. Both were on short notice, but she wanted me to perform in Dreamville since that was the choreography that was learning at the time. Talking too fast. So I entered the hallway where we're practicing, and I did not even see Jada for her to have made this comment or for her to have acted in this way, because she was sitting on the floor and there was someone sitting in a chair above her. So when I walked in, I didn't even see her. So I turn around and she's just looking at me. She's like, so me, I'm looking at my shirt. I'm like, is there something on me or something? So all the dancers were present at this point. Miss Courtney Blake was present. Coach Michaela was present. And Coach Khalil was present. We're all present for this interaction. So she's just staring at me, and I'm like, what is it? She was like, oh, you was looking at me, so I thought you had a problem. And I'm like, Jada, I didn't even see you when I came in here. So what are you talking about? I wasn't looking at you. You were looking at me first. And she was like, so I just want to know if you got a problem or not. Like, what's up? What's your problem? So, when she said this, Miss Blake didn't say anything to her. Coach Khalil didn't say anything to her. Nor did Coach Michaela say anything to her. But Kaya White walks out the hallway and she's like, what's going on? What's going on? So when I said, what are you talking about? Miss Blake is like, all right, be quiet. Like with her hand to me, be quiet. And I'm just like, what? So we're getting our uniforms for Dreamville at this point, and we go change and we come back out into the hallway. Miss Blake and all of the other coaches have left the space at this time, and it's just me, Jada, and the other dancers present. So I'm sitting down minding my business, and Jada then says to her friend, I'm finna spaz on her little ass. I'm finna fucking spaz. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, what is she talking about? So then Kaya and her friend Allison Neal, who is also a leadership candidate at this point, they're all just looking at me crazy. And I'm like, she's about to spaz. Like, Jada was sitting next to me, but she was a few feet away from me. So this girl is saying she's about to spaz on me, but I'm sitting right there, and I'm just like, what is she talking about? Clearly she's talking about me, but what is she talking about? I'm not talking to her. I'm not looking at her. I'm not worried about her. I'm in my own world, minding my own business. So her friends take her into the hallway, which I can still hear them talking about me. And she was like, I can't stand that bitch. I'm gonna beat that bitch ass. And I'm just like, okay. My thing is, people can say whatever they want to say. People can look at me however. As long as you don't put your hands on me and get in within arm's length, I am okay. And I do not have a problem with you. So, afterward, Miss Blake re-enters the hallway space, and the girls, we have all congregated together, and we're sitting there before we go out and practice. And Jada leaves, and so I see Miss Blake talking to two dancers, and I'm like, Miss Blake, what you saw earlier was a clear example of what I was mentioning on the phone last night. She is rude and disrespectful to me for no reason, and I didn't do anything to her. I didn't even see her. So Miss Blake stops me, and she's like, that's outside of band. You need to focus on band stuff right now. So I'm like confused. I'm like, Miss Blake, but that does have to do with band because we're in the band. So I said, what Jada's doing is not outside of band. She was like, that's outside of band stuff. Go out there and dance. So this is some context. What they were practicing, the choreography that they were going over when she told me to go out there and dance was the choreography for open house. Again, like I mentioned previously, I was performing at the Dreamville event. I wasn't performing for open house. So I didn't know any of that choreography, and Miss Blake knew that I didn't know that choreography. So I go out into the little pit to where we have band practice, and I go stand at attention in our section because everyone knows that I haven't been taught the choreography for open house yet, so why would I dance? So then now everyone's preparing to march to the student union. This is now the second event of the night. The parties involved for this situation are myself, Miss Courtney Blake, and the band director, Mr. Jovan Wilson. So everyone's getting blocked up, which is when they get in a line to march down to the student union. So everyone's getting blocked up and prepared. So this is the day of open house. Actually, today was open house for the freshmen. And so everyone's getting blocked up, and because I wasn't performing for this portion, I'm like, okay, let me go ask someone what I should be doing because I don't know what to do. So I go to ask Miss Blake what I'm doing. She puts her hand in my face. So then I go outside to ask Mr. Wilson what I should be doing at the time, and he ignores me and says, go speak to your coordinator. So me feeling like, okay, I don't know what I should be doing at this time, I go and ask Coach Michaela. I'm like, Coach Michaela, I'm not supposed to be performing for open house, so do I march down with the rest of the band? And she was like, I don't know. So at this point, I had to use the bathroom, and nobody knows what I should be doing. A little context. So I previously had played the saxophone for the fall semester. So I've never played an instrument before. So when I wouldn't be performing with the rest of the band, Mr. Wilson would make me sit in the band room and practice playing the saxophone. So after being told I don't know from people who should have known, I decided to just stay in the band room. So I had to use the bathroom, but when I went to go use the bathroom in the band room, I noticed that Jada and her friends were standing in the way. So I was like, you know what? To de-escalate the situation, I'm going to go use the restroom outside. So I go use the restroom outside, and then I come back in to the band room, and everyone they had already marched down. So I sit in the band room for some time, and then I have some friends who had just made the drumline team who came to the band room as well, and they were like, Azari, what you doing in here? Like, come on, let's go to the student center where everyone else is at. I was like, I don't know if I should be in here or not, but I asked Miss Blake what I should do. She said she didn't know. I asked Coach Michaela. She said she didn't know, so I'm just in here. So they're like, all right, let's just go to the student center where everyone's at. So my friends and I go to the student center, and I am there for a bit until I'm approached by Miss Blake, and she was like, come here. So I'm like, all right. I walk over there, and she's like, so you're going to sit out for the Dreamville performance? And I'm like, why? She's like, because after I told you to go out there and dance, you instead told Coach Michaela that you're going to fight Jada. And so I'm like, oh, I did? Coach Michaela, let's ask you what you said. So then Coach Michaela comes over there, and I'm like, Coach Michaela, I told you that I was going to fight Jada. And she was like, yes, you did. And as a staff member, I have to report that. And I was like, so when did I say that? So then Coach Michaela starts turning red. And I was like, yeah, I never said that. So Miss Blake is like, oh, so she's saying that you a liar. She's saying that you a liar now to Coach Michaela. And I'm just like, if she's saying something that I said, saying that I said something that I didn't, that's a lie. So you can, paint it out to be I'm calling her a liar or whatever, but I never said I was going to fight Jada, so what are we talking about? So then Miss Blake is like, well, you're going to sit out. And I'm like, all right, Miss Blake, I don't know what you're sitting me out the performance for, but hey, whatever. If you feel like I need to sit out because I'm telling you I said something that I'm telling you I didn't say something that you're saying that I said, whatever. So me obviously upsetted by, going through all this work to learn this choreography. When I made the team, this is like the second week of me being on the team. I went through so much going through all this choreography just to be told I'm going to sit out at a game for something I never said. I walk away, and then I start crying. Then Coach Michaela tries to approach me, and I walk away from her, And then I call my sister and explain everything that happened.